Let's go straight to the day's trading action. Weak global cues did play spoil sport on Dalal Street when the Nifty lost 1%, slipping below the 10,700 mark. The Sensex is also down by about 300 points. Broader markets falling in line with benchmark indices. The mid-caps saw a 1% fall and the index ended at a 5-month closing low. The Bank Nifty ended nearly 1% lower despite recovering in the last hour, so it was red across the screen on Dalal Street. And on Wall Street, shares have opened for trade. We are seeing some sharp cuts. Tech stocks continue to tumble. That's been the story that's been playing out for the last few days, and today is no exception. That's the S&P 500 for you, down by about 1% or so, and the Dow has now dropped by about 400 points. That is the latest that's showing up on our screens. The Dow has dropped more than 400 points. It's erased the gains it's seen in 2018. Target, that's the retailer, as well as tech stocks have fallen. A CNBC CFO survey shows that the Dow could drop 2,000 points more before this current bout of selling comes to an end. So that's the latest on Wall Street, and the cues don't bode well. But the top story this evening, a day after the RBI board 9-hour marathon meeting signaled an uneasy truce between the RBI and the government. Sources say the panel to review the RBI's capital reserve framework could be formed soon. In fact, we learned that the government and the RBI will form a committee to finalize the transfer of surplus from the central bank to the government within a week itself. Sources indicate that the committee will comprise of government officials as well as outside experts. While the money markets did heave a sigh of relief after the RBI board meet didn't throw up any adverse outcomes or accidents, the rupee hitting its highest level in 2 months, it did give up some of those gains in late trade. The 10-year bond yield remained flat in trade. Let's go across to Lata now with her take on the outcome of the board meeting. Lata, an uneasy truce seems to have been found as things stand today, but what's the market working with?
Well, you could say that on the one hand, the capital measure of Reserve Bank so far has been gone into by Reserve Bank appointed committees, the Malegaon committee, before that the Usha Thorat committee, before that the Subramaniam committee. This time it's going to be an RBI come government, so you could say that it's a bit of a setback for the Reserve Bank. As well on Basel, the deadline has been postponed. The PCA norms are going to come up again for review on December 14th. So all this, and especially if they are decisions of the board, then it's a little unpalatable for the Reserve Bank, because the board normally advises, doesn't decide, and that could be a little unpalatable. Be that as it may, for the rupee market, the big relief was that at least there's no adverse event, no resignations, as was earlier feared, and therefore you saw the rupee as the outperformer today. And because the rupee went as strong as 71.30, you saw even the bond yields falling and the bond prices rising in response. So good response from the rupee and the bond markets. But ultimately, they also fell prey to the global risk off. As far as banks were concerned, again, there was a little bit of positivity for some of the public sector banks like PNB, BOI and Union, which don't have to scamper for capital, because you have to meet the capital conservation buffer only in April 2020, not April 2019. So there was a bit of a relief in stocks like this. But overall, the PSU banks again fell to risk aversion, and also because in any case, the PCA norms were not eased, and therefore there was a mixed reaction to them. The rating agencies also came with mixed reaction. One of them said that it's a credit negative, that the amount of minimum capital is being reduced, so to speak, up until 2020. But CRISIL did not think so. It was only Moody's which was a little upset with it. CRISIL thought that anyway the minimum capital requirement deadline is only getting postponed. It's not being changed. Finally, on NBFCs, there was a bit of a disappointment that there was no special line of credit. Not many people expected it, but yet the stocks did feel the heat.
All right, Lata, appreciate you joining us with the market reaction to the outcome of the RBI's board meeting. As Lata was pointing out, rating agencies are divided over the RBI's decision to extend the timeline for banks to meet capital norms. Now, Moody's believes the move is credit negative, but CRISIL doesn't seem too perturbed by the deferral. Take a listen.
Clearly, for banks, the more the capital, the better it is. And the starting point of the Indian public sector banks specifically is that they are very weakly capitalized. So the fact that in some sense there is a forbearance being given on the capital levels is a credit negative.
Regulatory capital requirement that has been prescribed by RBI, that is 1% higher than the global requirements. And even with this 0.625% reduction, we will still be 0.375% higher than the global regulatory capital requirement. And it's just a one-year time frame that the deferral has been made. It's not done away with.
With the rating agencies there on the Reserve Bank's decision on capital deferral for banks. Now, the Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog, Rajiv Kumar, is hopeful that the decision on RBI's capital reserves, that new economic framework, will be implemented in this financial year itself. Speaking with Lata, he also added that the central bank's reserves will not be weakened. We also caught up with the former Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission, Montek Singh Ahluwalia. He is of the view that the composition and the competence of the RBI board must be properly worked out if it is not going to be a purely decorative board, which has been the case so far. Here are the two big newsmakers this evening.
How long does it normally take for a committee to arrive at a formula? I believe there are there are some 30 models available.
Yeah, but I don't think this is something that, all those models have been well studied by all concerned. I think this is quite available. The committee itself represents, in a sense, the attempt, the much needed attempt to reach a common ground and to reach a balance, and not dig, and neither side digging their heels into it. So I think what really, as you know, is a well-proven, well-trodden area, that when you set up a committee, to find the middle ground and to find the balance between two opposite views. And I think it should not take very long, as far as I can make out.
Okay.
Because it's not
so you can expect it in this...
They're not going to do any primary research.
Okay, okay. No, I'm asking you because the retained earnings of the Reserve Bank, about 2.5 lakh crore, are earnings put aside from, over the past 20 years. For it to be transferred in 1 year to the government of the day could be, a little unfair, isn't it?
I don't think that's anybody's case. Nobody that I know of would want to weaken, in any sense, the central bank and its, and its capital reserves, beyond any, and leave, and would want to make sure that it has the capital reserve that it needs, plus a little more for the rainy day, as it were. So I doubt if there is anybody who's making that suggestion that you just said.
Until now, we never thought that the RBI board would, try and decide how much capital adequacy has to be maintained, or, what kind of banks should be constrained because they are weak. We thought this was left to the technocrats at RBI. Now that the board is an active board, should we genuinely start worrying about the composition of the board because it is such an important actor?
No, that goes without, absolutely goes without saying. I mean, if the board is not a purely decorative organization, which for many years it has been, then it's extremely important that the composition of the board and the competence and the background of the people on the board is very carefully worked out. There's no question about that.
Okay. So then that will require practically rewriting of the law, because, the Act does not really give any qualifications of the board. It merely says that the government shall appoint board members. Does the Act have to be thought through?
In complex banking matters, I do not think that a part-time board appointed by the government should sort of, as it were, overwhelm the decisions of a professionally managed RBI. And secondly, if it is to comment on it substantively, it becomes extremely important that the competence of the board members is, as it were, beyond question. Otherwise, it becomes an opportunity to sort of raise questions and create difficulty and so forth, which is not actually very helpful.
Well, two big voices there on the next round of consultation and discussion between the government and the Reserve Bank. Remember, the next board meeting is on the 14th of December. The big corporate story, one that CNBC TV 18 broke. Today, the Yes Bank stock was down by about 6%. This after independent director R. Chandrasekhar resigned from the board, becoming the third person to quit in the last 6 days. Sources tell CNBC TV 18 that his discomfort over handling of recent developments at the bank led to his resignation. Yes Bank, incidentally, also revised a press release that it put out yesterday on his resignation. It dropped the words which claimed that Mr. Chandrasekhar had quit for personal reasons. Ritu joins us now with more details. Ritu, what exactly is going on? And the change in the Yes Bank press release does corroborate what we've been reporting.
Well, R. Chandrasekhar's resignation marks the third exit from the board of Yes Bank in less than a week. And that exit, we understand, is not due to personal reasons as initially indicated by the bank, which has now revised its statement and removed the words personal reasons from the release. Now, sources indicate that R. Chandrasekhar, in his resignation letter, expressed deep concerns about recent developments at Yes Bank and dismay at the manner in which the bank has dealt with these issues, and conveyed to the bank that the environment was not conducive to him staying on any longer. Now, what are these concerns that he is referring to? We understand from sources that since the time that the RBI sent a letter to the bank cutting short Rana Kapoor's tenure as the CEO, there has been friction between the existing CEO and some of the board members on matters relating to the transition, where the bank had sought an extension for Rana Kapoor, and even the process of selecting a new CEO. So sources pointed out that the circumstances under which both Ashok Chawla and Vasant Gujrati left the bank, as well as O.P. Bhatt's resignation from the search and selection committee, were all seen as worrying developments by R. Chandrasekhar. But the biggest concern yet for him was the independence of the board, which we understand under the existing leadership is something that he was worried about. Rana Kapoor also, we understand, wrote to R. Chandrasekhar asking him to reconsider his decision and at least serve as director until April 2019 in the interest of stability of the bank and also to avoid any adverse market impact. But R. Chandrasekhar declined that request and put in his resignation.
All right, Ritu, appreciate you joining us. So, turbulence continues there at Yes Bank. Staying with corporate news, a fresh ray of hope for debt-ridden JP Infra. 5 companies have shown interest in taking over the company. These are NBCC, Kotak Investment, L&T Infrastructure, Singapore-based Cube Highways and Suraksha Group. A quick caveat, out of these 5 companies, L&T Infra is only interested in the 165-kilometre Yamuna Expressway project and not the development of land parcels attached to the expressway. So it doesn't want all of it. It wants only the Yamuna Expressway. At least that's the L&T Infra expression of interest. More corporate news. Vodafone Idea is all set to embark on a massive fundraising exercise from tomorrow. Sources tell us that the company is looking to raise about $3.5 billion, and a majority of this amount could be through a rights issue. Kumar Mangalam Birla is likely to raise $1 billion through his personal assets. Sources also told CNBC TV 18's Nisha Podar that Grasim and Hindalco are likely to participate in the fundraising exercise. Dramatic turn today, the Supreme Court coming down hard on Director Alok Verma, who's been shunted by the CBC. Upset over purported leaks to the media, the Chief Justice said attempts by the court to protect the institution have been defeated. This hearing has now been adjourned to the 29th of this month. Ashmit Kumar, who spent the day in court, joins us now. Ashmit, so day of high drama. What were these leaks that irked the court?
Well, a day of high drama indeed in courtroom 1 of the Apex Court of the Supreme Court of India. This was the court that is headed by none other than Chief Justice himself, Justice Gogoi. One was anticipating a face-off between Alok Verma and Asthana's counsels, but what we saw instead was a severe tongue-lashing from the Chief Justice himself, Justice Gogoi. He has clearly taken exception to what appears to be leaks of sensitive details about the case into the media. Now, keep in mind that there were no explicit references made to articles or publications that have come out with these articles. There were also no explicit references made to which are the information or details which have been leaked or documents that have been leaked. But at the same time, keep in mind that the Chief Justice made various observations, various thinly veiled references that made it abundantly clear what he was or has been referring to. One of the issues that he had taken exception to was Alok Verma's response to the CVC queries while the probe was going on. He clearly pointed out, again, making a thinly veiled reference, that this is not done. And in fact, Fali Nariman, appearing for Alok Verma, also clarified on his behalf that he had not authorized any leaks. Another issue that he had taken exception to appeared to be various publications that had published case-sensitive details that were made public by way of the MK Sinha application. MK Sinha, mind you, a senior officer that was probing Asthana, had moved the apex court yesterday, whereby in that petition he had made severe charges against the likes of Ajit Doval, the NSA chief, arguing that he had been interfering in the CBI process and the CBI investigations. All of these details being made public. Justice Gogoi observed that he's trying to preserve the respect. That is clearly not happening, that he's extremely disappointed with this entire process. It needs to be corrected. He had been assured that confidentiality will be maintained, but that it wasn't, and that none of the councils, none of the parties deserve a hearing at this stage. And on the back of that, he cancelled today's hearing, and he's deferred the hearing till November 29th. That's when perhaps we can expect more clarity. But for now, unexpected developments, high drama in the apex court, and a deferment of the hearing. No clarity coming in. November 29th is perhaps when we can expect more light to be thrown on the way forward. Back to you.
All right, Ashmit. So a big day in court today, dramatic day rather, and 29th is when this matter will be taken up again. A quick look at the other headlines. A Delhi court today sentenced to death one of the two attackers convicted in the 1984 anti-Sikh riots. This is the first death sentence handed in the case. The other convict has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal was attacked with chili powder at the Delhi Secretariat today. The attacker has been taken into custody. The Aam Aadmi Party has called the act politically motivated. Sushma Swaraj will not be contesting the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. In a statement, the External Affairs Minister cited health reasons behind her decision. Sushma Swaraj is the sitting Lok Sabha MP from Vidisha. She's been elected as a Member of Parliament 7 times. Staying with the elections, playing the communal and caste card during elections is the ploy of the BJP. That's the word in from Rajasthan Congress President Sachin Pilot. Pilot also played down reports of a divide in the Congress camp. In fact, he went on to say that Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje and BJP President Amit Shah don't see eye to eye. Parikshit Luthra caught up with Pilot on the campaign trail in Tonk, which is where he will fight the upcoming elections from.
46 years, the Congress has always put up a Muslim candidate from Tonk. This time you are fighting from this area. The BJP has tried to put a spanner in the works by bringing in Yunus Khan. Does that worry you?
You see, this whole question of which community, which caste, which religion, this is a typical BJP ploy. The Congress party has fielded people who we deemed fit and were the most deserving candidates.
To talk about the economy, Vasundhara Raje has been taking out the Gaurav Yatra. She has announced an 8,500 crore loan waiver. She's saying that her big focus is on micro and small and medium enterprises.
You see, half an hour before the election code of conduct was announced, she said, I will do something for the farmers. For 4 years, 29 days and 23.5 hours, she did nothing. Knowing very well that she's going to get voted out, she starts announcing things. That shows her insecurity. Now, this is a government that's full of jumlas. Even while you're debating office, you're announcing SOPs for farmers, which they know they'll never be able to implement.
Coming back to the working within the Congress, and as far as Rajasthan elections are concerned, two big faces in this election, Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot. Are you fighting this election on Rahul Gandhi's insistence or Ashok Gehlot's insistence?
I am fighting this election because of my party asking me to contest. I worked 5 years, and at a time when the Congress party was reduced to 21 seats out of 200, that was a challenging time when I was asked to lead the party. For 5 years, all my leaders in the state and I have worked hard to make the party as strong as it is today. So I attribute the strength to all of us working together. And today when the Congress decided that I must contest, I'm willingly and happily doing that. Now, you said two faces. We have half a dozen faces. And I think it's important and good for a party to have many faces. Why should there be just one or two? So more the merrier.
It is said that the Congress in Rajasthan today is divided between these two leaders. There is a loyalty factor and loyalties are divided.
If the Congress was divided, how could we win every single by-election? How could we perform on the grounds? How could the Congress party go from strength to strength if there was any pulls and pressures within the organization? In fact, it's Amit Shah and Vasundhara ji who have had this very open Cold War for months together.
Well, that's Sachin Pilot. Will he be the chief ministerial candidate? Remember, no announcement has been made by the Congress party, whether it's Gehlot or Pilot, both contesting in the elections, and he's contesting from Tonk. From Rajasthan, let's head to Madhya Pradesh. Farmers in Madhya Pradesh will be crucial in deciding which way these elections go. So, are they happy with the incumbent BJP government? Archana Shukla visited the Umaria village in Indore district to find out.
गाजर के इस साल दाम नहीं मिला,
नहीं मिला
इस साल दाम नहीं मिला हमको।
मतलब जब फरवरी में निकाली थी,
जब निकाला इसको कोल्ड स्टोरेज में रखा ना, तो उसका सही दाम नहीं मिला।
जो चीज 15 रुपए किलो बिकेगी तो ही हमें उसमें 1 रुपए 2 रुपए किलो का प्रॉफिट होगा, और नीति की तो 1 रुपए किलो का। 12 रुपए बॉम्बे बिकी, 11 रुपए 12 रुपए बॉम्बे बिकी गाजर।
गाजर में नहीं मिला, लहसुन में नहीं मिला, आलू में भी नहीं मिला। आलू पिछले साल तो हमने गाय ढोरों को खिलाया, उसका बिक्री नहीं हुआ। पिछले 4 सालों से हमें ना जो आलू की जो क्रॉप है, इस साल तो हमने आलू घर खाने के लिए भी नहीं बोया।
यहाँ सरकार है आपकी, राज्य की सरकार है, वो एक भावांतर योजना चलाती है, जिसमें अगर जो भी कम में बिकेगा उतना आपको ऊपर से सरकार देगी।
शिवराज सरकार तो बहुत बढ़िया है, पर केंद्र की जो नीतियां हैं, हमारा जैसे आलू एक्सपोर्ट होता है उसको बिल्कुल बंद कर दिया, लहसुन एक्सपोर्ट होता था उसको बिल्कुल बंद कर दिया।
भावांतर में क्या है कि पंजीयन कराया, उसी को भावांतर मिल रहा है, और उसमें भी रेट कम, मान लो कम रेट में बिका है। भावांतर से जो रेट है मान लो 2800 इनने फिक्स कर रखा, और उससे अंदर बिका है तो उसमें भावांतर नहीं मिलेगा।
भाव की सबसे ज्यादा परेशानी
किसान को भाव तो मिलना चाहिए ना। सोयाबीन बीज के भी, सोयाबीन बीज लाते 5000 6000 रुपए कुंटल का लाते, जब निकाल के बेचते तो वही 3000 मिलते हमको, तो कितना घाटा है। बीच में ही सब खा जाते, हम तक तो आता ही नहीं है। जैसे मुआवजा फसल का अगर खराब हो गई है और उसका मुआवजा भी सरकार है, तो हम तक तो आता ही नहीं है।
पर आप लोग इसके बारे में अपने पंचायत में सचिव को, पटीदार को बताते होंगे?
कोई नहीं सुना, हमारे कोई सचिव सुने न कोई पंचायत सुने।
राज्य सरकार को, शिवराज सिंह की चौहान की सरकार को आप 10 में से कितने नंबर देंगे उन्हें? किसान हैं आप, खेती करते हैं।
10 में से 10 ही देंगे मैडम।
आप बहुत खुश हैं?
बहुत खुश है।
आप?
मैं भी बिल्कुल, मैं तो 10 में से 100% मेरा तो
नहीं, मैं कम दूंगा, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत है कि इन्होंने बिचौलियों को खत्म नहीं किया। क्योंकि बिचौलियों को खत्म करेंगे तो हमें प्रॉफिट होगा, और बिचौलियों को खत्म नहीं करेंगे तो हमें क्या। आज तो खेती कर रहे हैं तो मतलब क्या है हमें खेती करने से।
10 में आप कितने नंबर देंगे?
10 में से मैं 5 ही नंबर दूंगा।
Well, it's interesting there. A split verdict, but B, the ones that are unhappy say they're unhappy with the centre's agricultural policies, not the policies of the state. Well, that was Archana reporting there from Madhya Pradesh. We will, of course, get you more details from each of the states going into elections, specifically Rajasthan and MP, over the next few days.